coverage. Citi News at 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Citi News.
.3 Citi FM. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News. Coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. I am Sami Wiafe. Tonight, I'm here with
Melody Fafa Kotufe.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Our suppliers have increased the prices of the materials. We have also been forced to increase our prices.
Sachet water producers justify recent increase in prices of sachet water. Tonight, we ask what has prompted this increase. Also coming up on Eyewitness News.
3 brand new airports will be built based on these levies we are going to collect. The Terminal 2 is going to be remodeled into an international and domestic terminal.
Transport Minister defends new airport infrastructure development charge, which has seen airline tickets go up. Tonight, we hear from the Minister of Transport. And later, Chamber of Agribusiness wants government to reject decision by Burkina Faso to lift ban on importation of tomatoes. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for this and other stories on Eyewitness News. Also coming up in business.
Landlords face sanctions over tax evasion as GRA intensifies its effort against property tax violations.
Eyewitness News is live on our affiliates across the country, around the globe. We are on citinewsroom.com. You can join us with your comments on the WhatsApp message or with WhatsApp message on this number 0539 986 996 0539 986 996. Let's go to our first story where we understand there's an increase in sachet water. Fafa.
Well, the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers has announced a nationwide increase in the price of sachet water. The retail price of a bag of sachet water is now set at a maximum of 15 cedis effective Monday, April 6.
Let's get some more on this and speak to Kwame Richard. He's the Vice President of the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers. Kwame, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. What justification will you give for this decision to increase the prices?
Thank you very much. Good evening and good evening to Ghanaians. Well, the justification is entirely on the conflict going on in the Middle East, exactly what is happening in Iran, where the Strait of Hormuz have been blocked and no ship is able to move from the Middle East to any part of the world. Most of our raw materials, being the films that we use to package the water, the raw material is sourced from the Middle East, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Dubai. That is where the polymer is imported from before it's processed further into the plastic films that we use. So the straits have been blocked. We all know what is happening. And unfortunately, some of the plants in the Dubai and others have been bombed. So they are out of production. So scarcity is a challenge now. So the little that we are getting, as I'm talking to you now, prices have been increased 40%. 40 good percent. So we have no choice but to beg consumers to enable us to increase a little bit so that we can continue to produce a very good and quality water for Ghanaians.
And so, the war happening in Iran involving the U.S. and Israel is what is prompting this decision of yours to announce an increment.
So, let's put it in the right perspective. It's what is prompting the shortage of materials, the polymers.
So, because of the war, your justification is the shortage of this particular material you talk about.
The materials are not in country, and the little that counts, the prices have shot up. So it's not basically the war. Let's put it in the right context. It's not the war, but the global shipping routes passing through Oman to Iran, then coming down to Africa, China, anywhere, have been blocked. I hope you are You know better. Our Newcastle. You know what is happening there. So because the stretch have been blocked, the ships that are supposed to flow with the material, they are not coming. That is even the companies whose plants are still intact and they are producing. Others, petroleum plants have been bombed and they cannot produce. And the polymers are byproducts of the petroleum product. So please, let's put it in the right perspective. It's not because of the war we are increasing, but the simple term is our raw material is not available. And the little that is available, the prices have gone up 40%.
Okay, with the 40%, we get it. Now give us a breakdown. Is it affecting a bag of the sachet water or just a single one? Explain to us. So if I'm going to buy, I'm coming home. I'm coming, Richard. So if I'm going to buy a bag, how much is it going to cost me? And if I'm going to buy just a single sachet water, how much is that also going to cost me?
Okay, so practically it affects both the sachet being the single one and the 30 in the bag. So we first use the first film to package the water, which is called a sachet. And 30 pieces makes us a bag, and we pack it into another bag, 30 pieces. All those things, all those raw materials, they come from the Middle East. That is where the challenge is. So, starting from Monday, the 6th of April, we are pleading with consumers. We are increasing a bag of water in our trucks. In our trucks, we'll be selling it at 10 Ghana cedis in our trucks on the average. Those are the recommended prices. And in the retail shops, it will be sold at 12 Ghana cedis. Those are the recommended prices.
Okay, 10 cedis in the truck and then 12 cedis at the retail shop.
Yes, please.
So you've explained the bag now. What about the single ones?
The single sachet currently
it's sold at 50 pesos.
The single sachet put in a fridge, some are doing 3 cedis, 3 pieces is equal to 1 cedis. Others are 40 pesos, others are 30 pesos, depending on where you are. We don't expect it to exceed 5 cedis. That is why we suggested that the maximum amount that should be charged should supposed to be 15 cedis. So when we take a bag, we have 30 pieces inside. So depending on where you are buying from, if you are buying from the supermarket where the values have been added and the price are a little bit high, we are expecting a maximum of 50 pesos per sachet. So that will become 15 Ghana cedis per the chilled one. That's why we are recommending that it should not exceed 15, but we are expecting that retailers should limit themselves to 12 cedis. The chilled and those in supermarkets, airports, and others, they have value that they add to the price. Those are outside us.
Okay, what about the bottle ones?
Yes, for the bottle, a few months ago, we did small adjustments on the bottles. So the bottles will be coming up, but for now, what is affected most is the sachet for now. So very soon, we'll come back on the bottle as well.
So for now, the bottle one is on hold. But what is on is just the sachet.
So let me give you a little background. For sachet, for the past 4 years, you've not increased any price on sachet. Prices for sachet water in Ghana have remained stable for the last 4 years, despite increases in all our inputs. We do this because water is a common commodity to Ghanaians, and we are mindful of that. Bottle along the line, we were able to adjust a little. We were able to adjust the bottle a little. So in no time, we'll come back on the bottles too. Probably by next week, next 2 weeks, we'll come back on the bottle. Because the bottle that we use to package the bottle water to is also from the same polymer that the sachet is coming from. I hope you understand.
I get you, Kwame. Is there a way you are able to monitor the new adjustments so that the trucks and the retail shops do not increase it at their own will?
So what we do is, as an association, is we look at the general industry standard, a very good producer who is being monitored by the FDA, EPA, Standard Board, Factory Inspectorate, all the regulators, okay, who periodically send samples to lab and it is tested, everything. So we use this to make our general recommendations. But trust me, there are other quack producers in there. We don't even know where they produce. You see the water in the market overnight. And sometimes tracing the source is even difficult. So that is why sometimes you see the undermining in the market. But we always advise consumers that look on the package very, very well. And make sure FDA number is there. And make sure that all the regulatory requirements are met. And you can easily trace the source of the material. Every good production system now, you see the GPS address on the products. So any good producer who have gone through all the regulatories definitely will maintain the price that you have recommended. But the quack ones, 1 month shock where anything goes, they decide to do what they want.
Okay. Kwame, I'll say a big thank you for your time. Kwame Richard is Vice President of the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers here in Ghana. The announcement is that they've announced some increment. They said that in the truck, you can buy a bag of sachet water for 10 cedis. In the retail shops, you can do it for 12 cedis. They're putting a task force to ensure that people do not abuse this increment that the association has announced. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Remember, Eyewitness News is live from our studios here, also live on our affiliates across the country.
In the Western region, we are Premier FM 100.5, Beach 105.5 FM, and Sky 93.5 FM, all in Takrade. In the Bono region, we are Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyai. In the Ahafo region, we are Hammers Radio 106.5 FM in Goso. In the Ashanti region, we are Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi. In the Volta region, you can tune in to Akpini Radio 96.7 MHz in Kpando, Heritage FM 107.3 in Hohwe. In the Northern region, we are Dasuma 99.1 in Yendi. In the Upper East region, you can tune in and listen on Word FM 88.3 in Zwarungu, Kunzang 90.1 FM in Tongo, Bolga 102.7 FM in Bogatanga. In the Upper West region, we are Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura, and in the Northeast region, we are Eagle FM 94.1 in Waliwali.
You can also join the conversation with your WhatsApp message. The number is 0539 986 996, 0539 986 996. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we hear the Transport Minister who is defending the new airport infrastructure development charge, which has seen airline tickets go up.
3 brand new airports will be built based on these levies we are going to collect. The Terminal 2 is going to be remodeled into an international and domestic terminal.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Kuma has always dreamt of commanding his own military forces.
Attention! Eyes right, stand at ease.
Because that dream is still a vision in progress, he spends his time commanding his money with the EcoBank mobile app.
Operation Supplier Payment. Dispatch 1,000 units of currency from Accra to Benin. Move! Move!
Sometimes he wants a little extra control so that he can buy only what he needs.
Command Center mobile app. Activate virtual card protocol and initiate payments for sneakers and t-shirts. Abort mission for leather coat payment.
Even when the general is fast asleep, his standing order marches out to sort his bills. With the EcoBank mobile app, you can command your money to make safe transactions in Ghana and across 33 African countries. Download the EcoBank mobile app on the Play or App Store today.
By the left, about turn.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. EcoBank will never call or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Accra, it's time! Celebrate Easter with Kitia and enjoy 25% off store-wide and up to 50% off selected items from April 1. Visit Kitia at Spintex Road or follow at Kitia Ghana on Instagram.
Oh, jump on now. Go, go. Google me. At what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. sector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
Go!
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Pow, make we step out small. Gonya mood accepted the carnival for town to start now.
Yeah, miss it there, see my fiber, they fire off. Download, record, streaming, they go on. Gaming, suit, no buffering.
Okay.
It's Bronya way, they more fiber.
Oh, wow, so you really no go come and
MTN unlimited fiber. Internet day here, make a promote.
This Easter, put your home on MTN Unlimited Fiber Internet and make the fun day right where you are. Fast speed, pure fiber, truly unlimited. Visit my MTN app or dial *5057# to check fiber availability or to subscribe.
MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. A few of your WhatsApp messages. Tiam Malik in the Northeast region. We Ghanaians are our own enemies. Businessmen and women always find it difficult to reduce prices of goods and services in time for Ghanaians. But when it comes to increments in prices of goods and services, we are always the best. Abi National in Wa says sachet water sellers are not from this country. No, I don't really get it from Abi National. Says sachet water producers. Abi National, I'll be glad if you could send your message again. I'm unable to get it. Akapol in our form said the government must this time resist the attempt by sachet water producers to increase their fares. It can make the government unpopular. From Kennedy Nipayede says, I think it is time for the government to pay attention to the prices of sachet water because it will be a burden on the ordinary Ghanaians. Tay in Tema says, why is there an increment at this time of the Ghanaian economy? This is not the best for us. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Let's go to the Minister of Transport, who is defending the decision by government to introduce a new tax at the airport.
Well, the ministry has justified the introduction of the development charge. The levy, which took effect yesterday, imposes a $100 charge on intercontinental travelers, while domestic passengers are required to pay 100 Ghana cedis. Speaking to journalists, Transport Minister Joseph Bukari Nikwe stated that proceeds from the levy will be used to modernize the airport and position the country as a leading aviation hub in Africa.
Relating to the Ghana Airport Infrastructure Levy, which was duly passed by Parliament, and as at that time we had a very fruitful deliberation debate on it, and it was seen to be one of the areas that as a country we have to look at raising revenue to be able to keep our airport very functional and be able to meet the demand or the day-to-day running of the airport. I must say that I give a very big thank you to all the airline owners for their cooperation thus far. We have engaged them for a very long time before we went to Parliament, and to thank the parliamentary committees that sat through looking at our budget before the budget was approved by Parliament. And again, His Excellency the President, during the State of the Nation's address, also made a pronouncement about how we were coming with the airport infrastructure levy. I must say that it is that vision that is driving us, and in order to be able to have a well-functioning airport, we needed to raise some revenue, and that is why I am grateful to Parliament for passing the budget or the levy for us to be able to raise money to update our airports.
Well, the amount involved, 100 cedis for domestic flights, $100 for international flights. What went into this? Was it just a revision of what others said? How do you arrive at these figures?
All over the world, airports operate and function with the contribution of passengers. And if you want to have an airport, or if you want to function in the aviation sector, that we as a country are aiming at being the aviation hub to West Africa and the region as whole, you have to raise revenue. And where do you raise the revenue from? Our customer base. Now, the $100 is for intercontinental travelers. They are going long haul and they are paying $100. Our regional passengers will pay $30, those who would travel within the Africa airspace. Then our ECOWAS passengers will pay $15 per passenger. Then the domestic will be 100 cedis. Now, why do we look to raise that revenue? Our memory serves us that since 2012, there have not been any comprehensive taxes or levies coming from the airports. And that has put a lot of burden on the few facilities we have. Ever since the Terminal 3 was put up in President Mahama's first term, we have not had any upgrade of the airport again. And so it was necessary to raise money to be able to provide modern infrastructure that will fit the idea or the dream of this country to be the hub of aviation in West Africa. So we put together proposals and then accepted by His Excellency, and then Parliament approved of it. And then we are now implementing, and took effect from yesterday, that all these levies will be collected and for the development of our Ghana Airport Company Limited. Yeah. We have to consider where we operate from, and all over the sub-region, our airports are in very deplorable states. Let me tell you that from 2012, Ghana Airport Company did not make any comprehensive levies or charges to upgrade our airports. Our sewage treatment plant is 25 years old, almost full to the capacity. If we do not do something about that sewage treatment plant, one day we will see a reversal of whatever waste we put inside. And as a country that wants to be the hub to aviation, we need to address it. Every day when you pass at the airport peak hours, sometimes I go there to help in the management of traffic. Our car park is too small to the point that the cars overflow to the streets and create a lot of traffic congestion. We need a new car park in the airport. Other airports, you have short stay, assuming you have a connecting flight that will take you 3-4 hours and you needed some rest. There should be some hotel facilities. So the car park will come with the hotel facilities attached to it, so that will create some comfort for our travelers. Now, the biggest one is the connecting concourse between Terminal 2 and Terminal 3. We all agree that Terminal 2 lies idle and not being used. So, Excellency, the President said, look, we have to be innovative and then get that Terminal 2 functional. So we agreed and started to rehabilitate, to remodel Terminal 2 to be able to serve both international and domestic. Now, passengers, if they are going to travel international, meaning that they have to get out either from Terminal 3, out of the airport and come in, or they have to use bus to carry or convey passengers to the Terminal 2, which doesn't fit in the design. So we are building a connecting concourse that will have other facilities like lounges and all those things to serve our passengers, so that when you are within Terminal 3 and connecting to any other country, you just walk through the connecting concourse to Terminal 2 and you are able to access the airline you want to travel with.
That was the Transport Minister, Bukari Nikwe. Meanwhile, the Minority on the Roads and Highways Committee says there is no justification for the airport infrastructure development charge imposed on international flights. In an interview with Citi News, the Member of Parliament for Achim Swejo and Ranking Member on the committee, Kennedy Osei-Nyako, says the charge on domestic flights is excessively high.
Passengers are being taxed purposely for using the airport. So why are you taxing them again under the disguise of airport development, infrastructure development levy? If government needs part of that tax that they are already collecting from the passengers, they need a portion to build another airport. They should take part of that $150 or so that they are already charging international passengers. For domestic, I agree, because for several years now, we were charging each passenger just 5 cedi for using the airport. What can 5 cedi do? So we were saying that 5 cedi was too small, and we cannot just do a quantum leap, just one jump and bring a big increase. So let's do it on incremental basis. We cannot say that, oh, we are just hitting or slapping domestic travelers with 100 Ghana cedi on one-way ticket, which means if you have a return ticket, you'll be slapping with 200 Ghana cedi. Already people are complaining. People who are flying to Kumasi, to Tamale, some are complaining that the fare is very expensive. They could have even, like during the Kufuor time we wanted to do, we could have begin with 30 cedis.
You are the Ranking Member of the Roads and Highways Committee and Member of Parliament for Achim Swejo, Kennedy Osei-Nyako. Well, away from that, the Tomato Importers Association of Ghana has welcomed the decision by the Burkina Faso government to lift its ban on the export of raw tomatoes. The ban disrupted tomato inflows into Ghana, causing price hikes. Speaking on the development, the association's national chairman Eric Osei-Tufo urged government to implement policies to reduce reliance on imports.
It's a very good news to our association because amount of April that we've entered, you don't have any tomato anywhere that we can go for to supply our local market. Now they've lifted the ban. It will give us an access to get tomato to supply our local market. But the ban is on condition. First of all, they've met all the tomato actors in the value chain. They signed a memorandum of understanding, meaning the government have to get tomatoes to feed the factory every blessed day, meaning the rate at which we normally import 30, 40 trucks daily. Nowadays, we are not going to get that privilege. So it's up to the association to minimize our importation. And I will take this privilege also to let the government know that we shouldn't be so much happy about the lifting of the ban. How they are going to do so that we can get tomato all year round in Ghana is what we needed at the moment. So the plans that the government have said on publicly, they must follow it so that we can get all year round tomato in our country.
That's the national chairman of the Tomato Importers Association of Ghana, Eric Osei-Tufo.
Not everybody is happy with this particular decision. For instance, the Chamber of Agribusiness is asking government not to accept the lifting of the ban from Burkina Faso on the export of tomato. Let's get some more on this and speak to the president of the chamber, Anthony Morrison. Tony, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Why are you advising government against this decision by Burkina Faso? We shouldn't accept it. I thought it was good news for everybody.
Well, thank you very much, Sammy, and a very good evening to your cherished viewers, listeners. This decision to lift the ban on the side of the Burkina Faso government, the chamber sees this as a very thoughtful process. However, the same process wasn't given to it when they decided to lift the ban. Two, we think that with respect to the importance of regional trade and cooperation under the ECOWAS protocol, it's very important that we coexist and trade together. However, we submit in the strongest possible terms that accepting the resumption of tomato imports at this critical juncture does not only represent a fundamental flaw or strategic miscalculation due to the fact that we have already put in place the strongest momentum on the ground in the past 14 days to be able to produce tomatoes to the teeming consumers of the country. Beyond this, we strongly believe that this is not just a routine trade adjustment. This is a national and economic turning point for Ghana. Ghana must not allow the lifting of the ban of tomato exports to derail the gains of the past weeks. The people of Ghana must produce to feed themselves what they are capable of producing. And we cannot place our national survival on the workers of another country. Government has set itself on an accelerated export development strategy. We must work towards it and achieve it. We have the 24-hour economy of agro-industrialization. The Ministry of Trade has feed industry. How do they expect private sector to put in when government cannot just stop 300,000 tomato gas and be able to work towards it? Look, as a country, we are not sufficient in anything, in any of our food. So, if the government really wants the private sector to have that confidence in them, they should be taking the bull by the horn and take the bold decision. Burkina Faso took the decision without respecting the sovereign rights of Ghanaians and the Ghana government. For that matter, they have lifted the ban at their own peril. Let our government stick to it. Look, we are talking about 150 tomato importers as against 7 million tomato producers in the country. Government must stick fast. And Sammy, we believe as a country, we have also gotten to a juncture where we need to develop the national agriculture and food foreign policy. How do we engage with our trade partners? We need to develop a framework within a mechanism within which some of these essential commodity trade can be negotiated. But the way the likes of Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali can wake up and stop or ban imports to Ghana is not acceptable. We must work towards achieving food sovereignty for most of our critical and essential commodities.
Morrison, the Agri Minister has announced not too long ago plans by government, to ensure that within the short term, the medium term, and the long term, we produce, locally to, meet the demand. And so, whilst this particular policy or program or this strategy by government is starting, the argument will be that why don't you just go back to Burkina for this? And when we are fully ready, we want to say, okay, Burkina, thank you. We are now self-sufficient. We can meet our own demand.
No need for it. Let Ghanaians go through the short-term challenges. And when we are enjoying, we enjoy and we move on as a country.
Go through the short-term process when we don't have the product on the market, which may necessarily lead to hike in the prices.
Sammy, let me point out that the transporters and the activities of the minor season are just speculative. For instance, we produce about 100,000 plus of tomatoes, metric tons, 100,000 metric tons of tomatoes in the dry season. The only tomatoes that come to Ghana is about 120,000 to 150,000. Okay? All Ghana needs to do is to make sure that the minor season harvest that we are harvesting now, we do not record post-harvest losses above 5%. And we are okay to go. Whether we bring in tomatoes from Burkina Faso or not, the minor season will be able to cater for it. We are talking about private sector transformation, developing critical essentials and raw materials to feed industry. And these are the things that investors see in government's ability and develop confidence to be able to invest in the sector. So if government cannot take such a strong decision in a case of this nature, as small as it is in terms of tomatoes, what about rice? What about cooking oil? What about frozen fish? What about poultry? What about meat? What about fruit juice? Look, we keep importing everything. If we can't take this bold decision at this very material time, how do we drag investment into other sectors? Onion, ginger, we import. So I mean, look, the presidency has set itself on a very strategic development and transformation agenda. They must stick to it. Ghana's IMF supported fiscal consolidation program must go on because we are losing $1.7 billion annually in tomato and its related activities. $500 million loss in terms of employment generation, over 400 to 450 million in fresh tomatoes importation, and almost 750 million to $800 million worth of tomato can importation. We can't continue this way. A government that is ready to transform this economy should be able to block the loopholes. And the tomatoes is a good start. Let's start with tomatoes. We move to poultry, we move to rice, and we move to fruit juice, and we are able to make this country sustained in food.
Tony, you say that Ghana has the capacity to produce 850,000 metric ton of tomato on an annual basis. How can we do this? And you said that we can do this in 2 to 3 growing seasons through the primary investment. Which investment particularly are you talking about, and how can we achieve this?
I mean, the actual gap in the minor season, we produce 450,000 metric tons.
In the minor season,
than what Burkina Faso produces in their entire year.
That if we produce this much, why do we keep going there?
We only import from Burkina Faso in the minor season to fill the gap. And don't forget, the industry runs on speculation. Over the past 20 years, and this has been running such that farmers who produces more in the minor season do not get market. So they have, by time, reduced the quantity of tomatoes they produce in the minor season. And let me also emphasize that because of these speculative activities of the traders, it has affected the economic livelihood of these farmers. In the minor season, and let me emphasize here, Burkina Faso uses 17,000 hectares to produce 306,000 metric tons annually. They produce about 18 to 20 metric tons per hectare. Ghana produces 8 metric tons per hectare with over 92,000 hectares. Now, in our major season, we produce 450,000. Okay, with a post-harvest loss between 20 to 30%. If you do the calculation very well and you move on to minor season, all we need to do in the minor season is to do what? Add additional 150, and we are almost close to our national annual consumption, which is 800,000. We don't consume more than 800,000. In fact, Ghana is actually the second largest producer of tomatoes in West Africa after Nigeria. That produces 4 million metric tons. So it's not that we are not, we do not understand where we are going. If you stop the importation, we will produce heavily in the minor season to feed Ghana. But the point is that we cannot invest in irrigation to produce heavily in minor season when cheap tomatoes are coming from Burkina Faso. That is what I'm talking about.
Tony, thank you very much for your time. Anthony Morrison is the CEO of the Chamber of Agribusiness. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we have more stories.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Accra Accra, it's time! Celebrate Easter with Kitia and enjoy 25% off store-wide and up to 50% off selected items from April 1. Visit Kitia at Spintex Road or follow at Kitia Ghana on Instagram.
Want fast, fun, and rewarding games right on your phone? Welcome to Bazikash, where playing is easy and winning is exciting. Getting started is simple. Just dial *245# on any network to access the Bazikash menu. Choose from exciting games like Ghana Jollof, Goldmine, or Trotro. Choose your stake from 1 cedi to 1,000 cedis. You receive a confirmation SMS instantly. No cash out. You are paid directly into your Momo account when you win. This game is for 18 years and above. Bazikash, fast, easy, and accessible to everyone. Dial *245# now and start playing today. Bazikash is in partnership with NLA on the Caritas platform.
Visit our website on www.bazikash.online or on Telegram at bazikashghbot.
Easter is here and Electroland says come and shop. This Easter, make it special. Electroland is bringing you unbeatable offers, unbelievable discounts, and exciting free gifts. Feel the rhythm with Samsung, TCL, and Media Home Theaters. Enjoy your favorite Easter movies on LED smart TVs. You can stay cool all day with our powerful air conditioners. Want a bedside fridge for your chilled drinks? We've got you. Prepare your Easter meals on a 4 to 6 burner gas cooker with grill and oven. And make laundry easy with top or front load washing machines. Visit our showrooms or go to www.electrolandg8.com. Call 050-315-9739. Electroland, home of luxury affordable electronics.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Yeah, welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Fafa, what do you have?
Well, the Association of Ghana Industries AGI is calling for the immediate cancellation of the 1 cedi fuel levy, citing its growing impact on operational cost following recent fuel price hikes linked to global tensions. Speaking during a meeting with the Minority Caucus, AGI President Kofi Nsiapuku warned that businesses may be compelled to pass on the increased cost to consumers if the levy remains.
The fuel price has gone up for more than 30%. Diesel is about over 16 now, 16, 17. So it is important that at this point we start talking about removal of the 1 cedi to bring our cost of operations down. At that point, we could absorb because we had to balance it with the appreciation of the cedi. But if nothing is done about it now, then we will also begin to look at our operational costs to start increasing prices, which we do not want to touch. We do not want a situation where the impact of the cedi will not be balanced by fuel prices, and therefore we come back to square one.
Kofi Nsiapuku is the president of the Association of Ghana Industries. Meanwhile, the minority in Ghana's parliament has reviewed plans to establish a dedicated working group to harmonize concerns and proposals raised during its engagement with the AGI. Deputy Minority Leader Patricia Pieje says the move is aimed at consolidating industry feedback into actionable recommendations.
We have listened to you and have put down the necessary recommendations that we need to take on board. What we are going to follow this particular engagement with is to come up with a working group. And that working group will be working outside the camera, where we can have a very effective engagement and come up with solutions. And then to us as a ready governance group to ensure that the mistakes that we committed, we are going to challenge ourselves to amend all those mistakes, come on board with you, and ensure that we will come back to power and begin to work well with you.
You are the Deputy Minority Leader in Parliament, Patricia Apieje. Now, the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana, PRETAG, has welcomed the government's decision to allow BEC candidates choose their senior high schools after their results are released. The association says this will help students make better choices. Speaking to Citi News, its Communications Director Kingsley Animedu said the move will improve school selection.
If you are going to write the exams, parents do not know the strength of their children, so they find it difficult choosing a specific school that will be in sync with the performance of the student. So if today we will wait when results come and a parent A knows the strength or the grade of the ward or the child, then he will have that fair idea of which of the schools I should go for. Should I go for West Africa Senior High School? Should I go for Presec? Should I go for Achimota? So for me, I think that is a step in the right direction. But this is not going to end all the challenges that are associated with the system. And I think the minister should go further and do more of introspection of the system, so that even if there will be challenges, it will not leave parents in weeks, months struggling to get schools for their children.
Now, reacting to the decision by the Ministry of Education to recruit 7,000 teachers, he described the plan as inadequate.
It's not something that calls for any special celebration. You ask yourself, how many of the teachers have not been employed after school? So if the minister comes to say that we are picking 7,000, you ask yourself, out of which number is the government going to employ the 7,000, and what is going to be the criteria? Because we are looking at all those who are home now. They've had their national service and others. So what is the criteria? Is it going to be based upon year of completion? Is it going to be on regional basis? Is it going to be on the courses offered? Or some? It is a very dicey situation. But as I said, for me, the number, comparing it to those who are to be recruited, is still below the expectation.
That was the Communications Director of the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana, Kingsley Animedu. The Ghana Police Service in the Eastern North region has assured the public of tight security at Kwehu during the Easter festivities. Speaking to Citi News, the Eastern North Regional Police Commander, DCOP George Ankuma, says measures have been put in place ahead of the celebrations to ensure safety.
When occasions like this come, then crimes begin to go up. For that reason, police will have put in place measures to curb those things. The first thing we have done is that police is going to show visibility from Nsawam all the way to Ejoso. This thing I'm talking about has already started. So those of you who have used the road since Tuesday, our men have been deployed on the road. On the D-Day, that is starting from Friday, Saturday, Sunday to Monday, we are going to line up from the mountain top. When I say mountain top, from Empraeso to Nkoko, both stretches. That is from Atibie to Nkoko and from Oboming to Nkoko. So security is going to be tight. At our charge offices, we will have men available. CID personnel will be there. So in case of any incident, report to police. Police, we are ever ready to attend to them.
Well, he further warned revelers to exercise caution and urged them to report any security concerns to the police.
In case of anything, report the incident to police. And you can use these numbers. They are toll-free numbers. You can call 18555. You can also call 191. They are all toll-free numbers. As soon as you call, police will respond to your issue. The security of the place is going to be taken care of by the police. By you as the individual coming, you have to be security conscious. Police will do our best But when we do our best and you become careless, it means our efforts will be rendered somehow useless.
You are the Eastern North Regional Police Commander DCOP George Ankuma. Now, President John Dramani Mahama says Ghana will strengthen its relations with Zimbabwe, highlighting expanded cooperation in trade, agriculture, mining, and energy. The president made the remarks during a bilateral engagement with Zimbabwean leader Emmerson Mnangagwa as part of a state visit to Ghana.
Ghana, as the host of the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, remains committed to promoting economic integration. In this regard, Ghana's strategic position within ECOWAS and Zimbabwe within SADC presents a unique opportunity to strengthen the linkages between the West and Southern Africa. Your Excellency, there are several priority areas we can deepen collaboration for mutual benefits. In the mining sector, both our countries are richly endowed with natural resources. We must work together to promote responsible mining practices and importantly enhance value addition and beneficiation so that Africa retains a greater share of the wealth that is derived from our natural resources. In agriculture, we recognize the importance of building resilient and modern systems. Zimbabwe's experience in irrigation and climate-smart agriculture offers valuable lessons for Ghana as we continue efforts to strengthen our food security and modernize our agricultural sector. Energy also remains central to our development ambitions. There is significant scope for cooperation in renewable energy and power infrastructure to support industrialization and economic transformation.
That was President John Dramani Mahama.
You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Up next is Citi Business News. And remember, Citi Business News is brought to you by Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Join the Republic verse. Do more, shine more. Big up.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house, oh.
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Melody Fafa, but to fail, let's settle for the details now. The Ghana Revenue Authority GRA is warning landlords and foreign nationals against using residential properties for commercial activities to evade taxes, stressing that offenders will face sanctions. This follows a targeted enforcement exercise in Tema, where the authority identified multiple properties operating in violation of tax and zoning regulations. Accra Area Manager of the GRA, Joseph Annan, says the authority is prepared to prosecute offenders as part of efforts to deter such practices and ensure compliance.
Non-issuance of VAT. So they are selling, but then, of course, once in a while they do issue, but then most times they don't. But what we have gathered here is that many of these houses around have been given to Chinese, and that's what they do. You see the houses as residential, accommodation, but then that is not it. They are selling. When we were here, we went to the next lane and we found many of them there, but because of time, we'll find one day and come in very early and then deal with them. Almost all of them here. But it's their owner not helping us, because these are houses that were built or have been built by Ghanaians. The ownership are Ghanaians for residential. So if somebody is doing business and the person is supposed to pay taxes, once you get your rent, you go to sleep. And it's not helping us.
You are the Accra area manager of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Joseph Annan. Now, Ghana's easing inflation may be offering relief, but the government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu is warning that the gains could be short-lived without disciplined spending and strategic action across the economy. Dr. Alhassan Idrisu says the decline in inflation to 3.2% in March must be treated as an opportunity to reset both business and household finances. Speaking during the release of the latest inflation figures, he urged businesses to take advantage of the stability to improve efficiency and reduce cost.
For government, it's important to maintain fiscal discipline and continue investing in food systems, storage, transport, and market access. For businesses, this is the time to improve efficiency, strengthen local supply chains, and pass on cost savings to consumers. For households, this is a good moment to plan spending carefully, focus on essentials, and build small savings where possible.
That was the government statistician speaking, Dr. Alhassan Idrisu. Government is making steady progress in the competitive tender process to select a new operator for the Damang mine. The process, it says, has been transparent and competitive to increase Ghanaian participation in the mining sector. Nilati Lati reports.
Government is seeking to identify a company with the technical and financial capacity to manage the mine efficiently while ensuring long-term value for the country. This is to position indigenous firms to take on a more dominant role in an industry that has been long controlled by foreign players. The diamond mine holds an estimated 3.55 million ounces of gold resources valued at a benchmark price of $2,300 per ounce. And this is the scale of assets shifting into state control. For the government, its immediate roadmap spans 2026 to 2036, targeting 1.85 million ounces of output from about 391 million tons of material. Lands and Natural Resources Minister Emmanuel Amakufibua maintains government is on course.
The government, as part of its broader objective of empowering Ghanaians in the mining sector, had really stated that the plan for this mine would be to basically usher in Ghanaian experience with technical and financial capacity as a springboard for empowering Ghanaians to take the commanding heights of the mining sector. Government, in following up on the commitment we've made, have triggered a process of competitive, transparent tender process to select that company that we believe have the capacity to run the mine. I did not go into the details of what is important and why we made this decision, but we are also aware that there's a lot of work to be done. I can tell you that the process of the tender is going very well. I can also tell you that our commitment for whoever is going to operate this mine.
While the current plan is set for 11 years, there is a significant full cutback option that could extend the life of the mine to 30 years, a development which means extra national revenue in future.
That report was filed by Citi Business News' Nilati Lati. Now, Mobile Money Limited is calling for deeper collaboration across the financial technology ecosystem to tackle the growing threat of fraud in Ghana's mobile money space. Chief Executive Officer of Mobile Money Limited, Shaibu Haruna, raised concerns over increasingly sophisticated fraud schemes, warning that the rapid adoption of artificial intelligence is exposing digital financial services to new vulnerabilities. He made the remarks at the FinTech Partners Exchange hosted by Mobile Money Limited.
The fraud we are seeing, especially in the last 2 years, is a very interesting one. It has moved from being an isolated, opportunistic event to being an organized network, and you can even add an industry, right? Now, we cannot fight this industry with a silo approach. Last year, I know some of the banks did a lot of work on their own in educating customers, etc. We also did our bits through multiple fronts. and I know other partners have done their bit. But it is too isolated. And again, the fraud we are seeing is technology driven.
You are the Chief Executive Officer of Mobile Money Limited, Shaibu Haruna. While also addressing the issue, Oreku Asari, acting head of the FinTech and Innovation Department at the Bank of Ghana, noted that safeguarding the ecosystem is essential to preserving the significant strides made in financial inclusion and the growth of digital payment in Ghana.
It's important that we appreciate the contribution of mobile money. I have had opportunity to see the growth up to this stage. We are at a point where we need to protect what we've built together. Banks, the fintech industry, with the support of the regulator, we need to protect it. So, Shagwe and I have an open line. We are chatting 12 midnight because there are some conversations that need to be fast-tracked to protect the ecosystem.
Oreku Asari is acting head of the FinTech and Innovation Department at the Bank of Ghana. Well, that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Join the Republic verse. Do more, shine more, big up. I am Melody Fafa. But to fair up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Imagine making or collecting all payments without leaving your chair. Sounds like magic, right? Nah, it's Stanbic Pay.
As the Chief Financial Director of SBA Holdings Limited, payments from clients flow like magic through Stanbic Pay.
From school fees to utilities, government and statutory payment to investment, insurance payment, Hajj payment, and more. Just log on to Stanbic Pay and you're set for life. No Stanbic account, no queues, no stress, no last-minute panic.
Cherish your time and live happier in safety and convenience.
Just visit stanbicbank.com.gh or call 030-340-9212 or 055-676-0683 to get started.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Gugomi, at what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
The go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Momo. It has made life happen in lots of good ways.
Mr. Kwanzaa, Minsaka insurance claim no.
It has put together beautiful weddings. It has filled the bellies of boys at their favorite watchy joint.
My guy, stop. Who they chop cancel these days?
It has made millions of businesses possible.
Minsaka no. We are back in business.
With just a few taps, money moves faster, easier, and safer. Momo understands the weight of your trust in us. We continuously enhance security with features like self-paying reset to help you protect your money. Momo will only call you with 0244 300,000. No MTN or Momo staff will call or ask for your PIN or one-time password. Do not transfer funds to anyone whose identity you have not verified. Do not approve any prompts you have not initiated. Momo, still Wunsaka.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News. And this is Point Blank. Tonight on Point Blank, we go to the port. The Tamale port to be precise. Because a group of traders and freight forwarders are not happy over a recent policy introduced by the Ghana Revenue Authority. A new artificial intelligence system used in custom and introduced by the Ghana Revenue Authority, which the GRA says will help in revenue generation for the country. But the coalition made up of freight forwarders and traders are unhappy about the implementation of this particular policy. Tonight we'll speak to the convener of the group, why they're unhappy about this and what they think should be done. Tonight my guest is Michael Obri. He's the convener of the coalition of concerned exporters, importers, traders and freight forwarders. Mike, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening.
Why are you happy with the GRA over this new AI system it has brought in at the port? Give us a genesis of what is this particular policy we are talking about here?
Okay, so sometime in November 2025, the Minister of the Minister of Finance had gone to Parliament and had indicated that government was undertaking steps to introduce some AI into the port, and the reason that they had assigned for that particular program or the AI was that it was supposed to close the gaps, the revenue gaps that they experience at the port. And so that generally was the reason that had been ascribed to the AI. Then traders, importers, everybody within the ecosystem raised concerns about the generalization or the interpretation that had been placed to the loss of revenue. That the loss of revenue in itself may not just be because traders are under-declaring their invoices or they are misdeclaring. That there could be a lot of factors why we're witnessing revenue gaps. And so we should hasten slowly when we want to make such generalizations, because it would sound as if it is the low-hanging fruits and the easy traders are the easy people that you can target and get away with. Our advice or our caution was not heeded to. Then sometime, I think it must have been in January, late January or February, the Ministry of Finance again invited us to a meeting at Oak Plaza. And at the meeting, it was to tell us that they had finalized everything with Publican AI, and the Publican AI was going to come augment what ICOMS does, and generally was supposed to make sure that trade facilitation was enhanced. That really was all we're told at the meeting. It wasn't as if it was a meeting to take stakeholders on board, because if you're introducing a new system into such a space, you need to carry stakeholders. Broader consultation. And so it appeared that the decision was made and we were just informed. Our caution still was very much alive. We told the ministry that, look, hasten slowly with the kind of interpretation you're putting onto the situation, else you would rush to implement a system and then we would realize that you had taken a misstep. So on the 12th of March, the ministry rolled out the Publican AI system. Now, when they rolled out the Publican AI system, what we began to realize was that the Publican AI system began to give arbitrary values for custom values. They began to give arbitrary values. And you would know that for trade thrives on predictability. So if I took a loan of $1 million Ghana cedis and I want to go to China to import these mobile phones, you know beforehand what your duties would be if you're going to import something at a particular value, because the duties are not calculated they are not magically calculated. You know the formula, you know how much you're paying for duties if you're bringing goods of a certain quantity. Unfortunately, what the AI started to do was that when you bring goods, rather than giving you the values, or rather than using your transactional values, which the law says that it must be the basis of determining custom values. If you go to Act 891, Act 891 is an importation of what the WTO regulations says, because Ghana doesn't do trade in isolation. We trade with other nations, so we must also become competitive at our ports. So it says use the transactional values. And if you are unable to use transactional values to determine the custom value, the provision tells you how to proceed. And it tells you to proceed in that manner in a certain sequence. Unfortunately, the AI doesn't do that. The AI just goes onto the market. It goes onto the domestic markets of the countries that you are importing from and other countries that people import from. Pick the values that the goods you are bringing in sells for in those areas, and then assumes that your transactional value must be any of those values. So it takes a floor and it takes a ceiling. So maybe it takes a floor of $10 and a ceiling of $20. And so if you bring your transactional values and your transactional values are, let's say, maybe $9, they say, the AI flags it and says that value cannot be accurate. But you would know that if you went to the market to buy something, how much you get it as a retailer is different from how much someone who is an importer would get it if he goes to a supplier. Because a lot of reasons account for pricing between supplier and importer. It could be relationship, it could be quantity. Sometimes it could even be because for a producer outside, an importer gave them money in advance. And so if I give my supplier money in advance, say 90 days, and that money is going to form part of the money they use for production for me at the end of the day, you would not expect that I would get it at the same price as you would. And so we told them that, look, there are various ways of detecting whether a transactional value is fictitious or not, because you would have sent some bank transfers, and there are a lot of means. In fact, at the port of origin, you're supposed to submit your invoices, and importers would do so because if you submit your invoices at the port of origin and all of that, you're able to get some tax back from those places because you are not using the goods in that country. You're exporting it out of that country. And so customs has a relationship with other customs in other countries, other jurisdictions. It's called customs to customs relations. And so if custom in Ghana wants to verify from custom in Brazil whether the chicken drums you are bringing is the value that you are quoting is what you submitted at the port of origin, that can easily be determined. So you do not need an AI that is fishing for values in a fictitious manner. So let me give you another example. There are two BOEs, same commodities on the two different BOEs. Just that one BOE has two containers and another has one container. Sam, it would interest you to know that the BOE that had one container, the value that was given to it was 500,000. And the one that had two containers was given a value of 100,000. So where is the parity? When you do this, it
500,000 and 100,000.
And 100,000. And 500,000 and 100,000, I'm telling you that the one that had one container was paying the 500,000. And the one that had two containers was paying 100,000.
So let's say 50,000 cedis for both.
For both. And so that is one of the fundamental issues that we're raising. That look, if you look at the operations of the AI, and if we go back to the law, Customs released, the Commissioner General released a notice sometime, I think last week or so, telling customs officers that when you do the valuation and the AI gives you a value that is higher than what you, the customs officer, has calculated, pick the AI's value. If you do the calculation and your value is higher than what the AI gives you, pick your value. So as a business owner, as a trader, as an importer, how am I going to predict what my duties would become? I would bring the goods to town. I would be unable to pay for the duties. It would go for the mortgage. It would be auctioned for a cheaper value to someone else. And as a business owner, I have lost. What we're saying is that government must begin to understand that our economy is trade driven. In fact, the majority of the people who survive in this country survive on trade. The government agencies or government jobs are mainly in services. It doesn't have a lot of manufacturing. And so if the traders who are contributing or who are the driving force of your economy, you implement policies that affects their business, policies that are wrong on the back of law. So again, if you go to Act 891, Section 68(3), it tells you that you shall not give a person custom values that are based on the higher of two alternatives. So if you tell the custom officer that when you do the evaluation between the AI and yours, whichever is higher, pick that, what are you essentially doing? You're essentially in breach of law. And so, Sam, our request has been very simple, that we are not against technology. In fact, we believe, and I've said this on countless occasions, that technology is one of the ways that as a developing country, we are going to leapfrog development. Because we cannot reinvent the wheel. We just need to catch up with technology, and we would be able to make up for all the light years that we have spent behind. And so we do not think that technology is a bad idea. We're saying that you must be rational in the implementation. You must do the implementation of technology considering the nature and scope of the business that the people are operating. It must not be done in vacuum.
Have you engaged GRA on these challenges that you've raised?
We have. In fact, yesterday we had the opportunity of meeting the deputy minister of finance.
Okay.
And in his company were senior custom officers and the commissioner general. We raised these concerns, and we admonished or employed on them that, look, if you look at the legal regulations that this AI is flouting, if you look at the operational challenges that it's raising, we're begging of you, suspend the program. It doesn't hurt to suspend the program. For us to meet again at a stakeholders and find a way that can help you as government raise your revenue and the businesses can thrive. Because don't forget, there's no business owner who is going to the market, would bring goods in, would get arbitrary values, will look for money and pay for it, and will not pass it on to the consumer.
But for how long has this system been in place?
This system has been in place since 12th of March. So
of this year?
Of this year. So approximately we've been around a month.
And already having all these challenges?
Already all these challenges. In fact, one of the key things that was promised, that it was going to facilitate trade, that people you could leave the port in faster time that you would have, it has turned out that it has created a lot more chaos. In fact, people are now spending a lot more time at the port than they would. Because don't forget that once there are disputes, all these disputes that are arising, then confusion sets in. And one of the, sometimes policymakers, one of the decisions that they took that we find as a huge retrogression is that the appeal system that used to exist, where if you're given a value and you dispute the value, you could challenge, and then you are made, you do it online, you're made to send in your invoices, or they ask for better and further particulars so that you can prove that these are indeed your transactional values, among others, was shut down. And then they say, if you want to do appeals, come to the Ministry of Finance. And then on Monday, just this Monday, Daily Graphic read the Daily Graphic had a very interesting front page, should I say caption, that the Ministry of Finance says they raise millions every day from the port since the inception of the publican. Then you read the details of it and it tells you that they are setting up an appeals desk or an appeals committee at the ministry twice a week. For an economy that runs on time, because at the port every minute counts, and as you would know, at the port, if you delay for some time, your goods are going to demurrage. Once it goes to demurrage, it means that you are paying rent, you are paying all sorts of things, you are increasing your overhead costs as a business. So if you're going to sit on your appeals just twice a week, what are you essentially saying?
When you went to them for a possible suspension, what was the response?
I don't think that the ministry didn't give us a response that was encouraging. It did appear as if their minds were made up,
taking their position, a
hardline position, that they would go ahead with the program, and with the assumption that we should go ahead with the program, and as we go on, we fine-tune them. But we cannot fine-tune something that is moving or something that is proceeding on the basis of an illegality. If something is proceeding on the basis of an illegality, you need to halt it. Now, we're also saying that you know that AI is really garbage in, garbage out. It's what you put in that if you have not been able to if we've not been able to program this thing very well, if we've not been able to take cognizance of all the things within our ecosystem, if it takes 6 months for us to fine tune it, what it would mean is that a lot of businesses within that 6 months may grind to a halt.
So you mean it was rushed through?
It was rushed through. I do not mince words when I say it was rushed through. It was rushed through. It wasn't thought through well. We didn't have a lot of stakeholder engagement. The people who are on the grounds, who do the work, do not even understand the AI and its operation.
The custom officials at the port do not.
It is clear that they do not understand the system.
How do you know this?
You know this from
when it's an implementation agency. So if they don't understand it, how can they implement it?
The implementation agency, true, but I can tell you that I do not even think, or I can tell you that the officers who are using the system do not even have a lot of training on it, because there's confusion at the port. When you go to the port, you would be able to tell if someone knows something or not. So I'm sitting here, I'm speaking on an issue. You can tell whether I know the issues that I'm talking about or not. You meet someone who is doing something, you can tell whether the system you're using to operate, you even understand it. Because again, the assumption that we proceeded on was wrong. And it's an assumption that over the time, whenever I speak, I try to correct. You see, I said that business owners and traders are development partners for the government. And so you should not always proceed on a premise with business owners as though they are thieves. You see, when you want to implement a policy and you proceed on the premise that the business owners, the traders, the importers are under declaring, it gives you a certain notion. You work with a certain notion that the people that I am trying to formulate the policy for are ripping me off. And so you think of all measures to clamp down on such people, and that is not the way to go. I can understand that in every organization, and it's not just peculiar to traders, in every organization there are bad nuts. In every situation, in every place that you go to, name one industry that doesn't have people who are not doing things, or who are doing things that they ought not to do. There's every organization that you go to in this world that you do not have 100% compliance. There are definitely the 1%, 2%, 3% that do not comply. And so proceed on the premise that these are your development partners. These are the people who who are the fuel of your economy. Proceed on that premise. And then say that in partnership with the people who run who fuel the engine of this economy, let us see how we can nip the uncompliant ones in the bud. If you don't proceed on that premise, you take a hasty generalization and do things that you ought not to do.
What next for you? Because they say there's no way they're going to suspend it. They have to work with it as it is now. You're unhappy, you're opposing it. What is the next line of action for you? You address a press conference to register your protest. After the press conference, what again?
So after the press conference, we were invited, and we made our position clear to the minister.
And they said they said they will suspend it.
I think that you as you know that
they won't do it.
Okay, so they won't do it, but we as citizens and as business owners have legal means of protecting our own economy too.
The next option is to go to court.
Not necessarily go to court. There are a variety of options. There are options.
Give me two of these options.
One of the options is that we can go on a sit down. Yes. In fact, Guta was there. One of the options is that they could also, in collaboration, in making, you see, government or public officials must begin to understand that you are working in the interest of the public. If we are your employers, you are working in the interest of the public. And so if you're doing something, and you see, it is very interesting that everybody within the ecosystem, not one person within the ecosystem, says that the system is good, says that the premise that you have proceeded on to implement the system and the way it is running is good. I'm not sure we can all be wrong and only the policy implementers are right. I do not see that as an option, that all of us are wrong and it is only the policy implementer who is right. That certainly does not speak well. When you do that, it appears as if you think that we are unable to reason. People within the ecosystem are very learned. You have doctors, you have lawyers, you have people who are professors. I mean, you have people who have achieved a lot in academia and business. And so we would not just want to oppose a system for the sake of opposition. And that's why I'm telling you that we have an array of, or a plethora of options. We would, at the time, and we've given government an ultimatum. We've told them that by the time we come back from the Easter holidays, they should use that period to reassess whatever they are doing. So that let's come back from the Easter holidays and start afresh. Let's come back from the Easter holidays, halting that application. Let's now meet as stakeholders and properly formulate the policy. You don't mind if you've sat as stakeholders, you formulated the policy, you kickstart, and it has one or two issues, because no system is foolproof. So you definitely have one or two issues that come and you tweak them along the line. But you do not start on a totally flawed system.
So for you, is it that they halt the process or correct the mistake? Which is which?
They should halt the process.
Not correct it.
You cannot, you see, it takes too much time to do that, by which time the business owners would have lost, by which time governments will not be able to raise the kind of revenue it thinks. Look, let me say this, that every time custom has set its revenue target since 2020, it has met the revenue target and has exceeded it. Nobody gives, we are not the ones who tell custom what target it should set. It makes an assessment on the data of the previous years, sees the throughput of cargo that has come in, and say that, look, this is my revenue target for the year 2026. Every single time since 2020, they had exceeded the target. So it is not that the system that you run is broken. So if the system that you run is not broken, don't introduce one that takes you 2 steps backwards. You get the point I'm making. Don't introduce one that takes you 2 steps backward. Don't introduce one that makes predictability of business difficult. Because once you do that, business owners are not Father Christmas. When they come in, they would pass it on to the people. When they are unable to pay, they would leave the goods at the port. You will not get the revenue. You would be the ultimate loser. You would be the loser. The business owner would be the ultimate loser. Look, yesterday we told the minister of the deputy minister of finance, because I had received and a colleague had received a message. Someone who is bringing about 360 containers of frozen foods wants to redirect them to Togo, because at least you would be able to predict what his duties are in Togo. So if I'm a Ghanaian and I'm bringing goods to my own country and I cannot predict what my duties would be, and I need to redirect my goods to Togo, maybe sell it off there, create employment for people, generate revenue for the Togolese government. Is that not worrying?
It's worrying. Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. Michael Obriaje is the convener of the Coalition of Concerned Exporters, Importers, Traders and Freight Forwarders. Unhappy about a new policy introduced by the Ghana Revenue Authority, an AI system to check custom and validation at the port. My guest tonight on Point Blank. And that's how I wrap up today's edition of Eyewitness News that came to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Sammy Wiafe. Earlier you heard Fafa Melody. Show produced by Kwabna Wilson, Fred Titi Jabano and Beverly London and Juliana Odami. The technical assistant from Emmanuel Latte. So we'll come your way again. May the good Lord be with us all.